Hey everyone, hope they're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis, updated commodities, work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. I'll interject my financial opinions as we go through it. And if you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. The special's over there if you'd like to join up, and it applies both to the monthly and yearly membership. Let's dive in, take a look, see what is going on today. Starting with the DXY, I was just looking at this. This is a bull flag or bullish formation to continue higher in the DXY here. Looks like a double bottom with a falling wedge broken to the upside in a flag. That's textbook, in my opinion, to move higher. Yields are coming down some. We're seeing the 2-year yield drop a little bit today, along with the 10-year and along with the 30-year. Now they're all slightly lower, no big fallout, but they still look good to go higher. Usually what I see when you want to go up is you'll see a large green candlesticks and then the consolidation to the right. You see larger green candlestick, which is also a bullish engulfing with smaller selling pressure. Those generally work their way on up unless there's some sort of news or something comes out that scares everybody. And that's seen across the board here. These are all bullish formations to go higher for yields across the board, across the board. So I think yields could go up. I also think that the dollar could go up with it. That doesn't mean that commodity currencies won't go up against the dollar. So I know that seems weird, but the DXY could go up against the currencies that it's being measured against, the Japanese yen, some other ones, euro, whatever else is in there. But some of the commodity stuff could be resilient, more resilient than the dollar. TLT bond prices are still moving sideways. If I were to look at this, try to give it a unbiased opinion, I mean, this could be an inverted flag that breaks lower. That would be an increase of yields for interest rates. So that is a possibility. Now this thing's been tanking. It's been tanking for a while. Could we get a bounce out of this thing where it goes up? It's possible. Um, I'd rather see some larger green candlesticks and kind of break its way out of there if that were going to happen. That's what I'd be looking for. The 2 and the 10, it's down a little bit today, but again, there's not a lot of usually if you're going to dive bomb, and this very well could, I'm not saying it can't. Um, you'll see large red candlesticks start to show up, like a reversal candlestick or something usually shows up where someone comes in there and just either buys or sells whatever it is in copious amounts with volume. And that generally kicks it off in one direction or the other. Right now, we're still kind of chopping sideways. To me, this still looks good to go higher, where the curve could invert again. TYX TNX ratio, I've got the upward arrow there based off this trading here. We tried to break lower, but it came back up. And then it's got that stair step upward pattern. That's where I got that upward candlestick. If it goes up and we're at a low location, if this goes up, I think we are going to see gold do well if that does go up. Gold's done well every single time. Basically, this has moved on higher. Gold's down $27 today. We're still on top of support. We haven't broken through that, so we're not getting a ton of follow through on this reversal here. So this could be a retest, then move higher. And that's I've got that exactly the way that I see it. I think this could continue on up. Silver's down 2.5%, but again, guys, we are sitting on top of $35 an ounce. So this could be a retest going on, getting a lot of people scared out of their metals before the eventual move higher. Platinum's also down 4.17%. I don't know if this in there with people trying to slow this move down. So then they just hit it with everything they've got and try to slow the move down, or if we actually get some follow through, maybe we get a consolidation or pullback out of platinum. I'm not in the game of the short term market noise. I look at ratios, and this is incredibly cheap. So whatever it does here, I don't really care. It's I got my entry point at like that point through here. So you buy it there, you buy it there, you buy on the dip there. That's at about, a little bit under $1,000 an ounce with the premium. And then you just let it go. You let it go. You don't worry about the day-to-day movements. Yeah, we're getting some selling pressure. You can see the wicks at the top. And yes, we could consolidate or maybe even pull back a little bit. But we're sitting on top of a breakout, guys. So it's still very bullish. We could even pull all the way back down here as a possibility. That's not what I'm saying it's going to do. I'm just saying it's a possibility and it could do that. Palladium's down 0.5%. And again, this still looks good. Why do I say that? You get these big candlesticks and then they're just consolidations. That's all they are. They're just downward wedges, downward consolidations. That's all bullish. Every time I look at charts, they start to do this at the bottom. Um, you could even see it down here when it's squeezed. So you got the selling pressure squeezing on up like that. Gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And then you get a breakout. We broke to the upside. So that's all bullish. This could be bullish for 5 years, even maybe longer. Maybe this is a multi-decade bull market, much like we saw back here from 2003 all the way to 2021. Big bull market in palladium. And that's exactly what we're probably going to start again. XAU to gold ratio. Again, we're at a really low ratio down here. Big upside potential for gold and silver mining companies. Everyone and their mom is bearish, except for me. I think they will go up. Does that mean, just because I said that, doesn't mean I put all my money in it? There are better vehicles out there in some sectors versus other sectors. Vehicles are the companies that you invest in. The GDX is down 1.34%. Keep in mind, gold was down today. These are all small little red candlesticks. Does not look bad to me. Stair stepping higher. GDX down 2.34. Maybe we fill this gap, but not a ton of selling pressure. A little bit of pressure today, but not a ton. And then SILJ's down 1.89. Again, it looks like we're trying to fill that gap that I drew the line there. But we've broken to the upside. There's a reason we broke up out of here. It just didn't do it by happenstance. It wasn't like a random move. We broke out, and wherever this thing goes, I still think we're going to head higher because of the valuations of XAU to gold. Crude oil up 0.65%. We did get a little bit of selling pressure throughout the day. It was not smooth sailing to the upside. We're at resistance. This is where the big boys are trying to hold it. We are consolidating at that resistance, and we could break to the upside at any time. Well, why do I see the upside, not the downside? Well, they had their chance down here, guys. They failed. They failed to push it lower. So, my opinion, bulls are in control, and we're up against resistance trying to break out. TTF gas up 6%. That looks good. Like I said, up. Falling wedge. Sometimes it dilly-dallies through here, and then we're starting our way on up. Natural gas in America down 2.4, but we're sitting on top of the trend line, which is good. There's your trend line that I drew in there, and I put it on the closing prices. Most of the time, I draw my trend lines on closing prices, not on wicks, not on fluff volume. Here we are, right on top of support. Our boy XOP, yeah, you know me, up 0.52%. We had natural gas down and crude oil up a little bit. We're back towards resistance. The resistance area is this trend line going up. Like to see it break through. Give me a little bit more confidence there. We do have that fractal that I grabbed the way it fell, flipped it the way it's potentially going to go up, and maybe we see something like this over the next few years. OIH down 0.76%, so it didn't get the love like XOP did, but it does, again, we don't have a ton of selling pressure here. Um, like when I mean by selling pressure, I'm talking about like, well, this is like ridiculous selling pressure, but we're talking like these big red candlesticks that come out like someone's hammering you lower. Um, we don't have that at this exact moment. Doesn't mean it can't. It doesn't mean it won't show up, but we don't have it. So I'm going to remain bullish with the upward arrow. Newcastle coal futures are up 1.11%. So that's moving on up. That looks really good. And you know what's going to follow? It's going to follow natural gas prices higher. Why? Because coal and natural gas compete. And when natural gas gets more expensive, let's say 450 an MMBTU or so, people start to fire on the coal power plants. There we go. Preface Uranium Trust, we are up ever so slightly today, and that is a bullish formation, guys. We're sitting on top of the flag with very little selling pressure. Going to go up. That looks fantastic. Uranium futures pricing is up slightly. There we are. We had that big gap up. We've been chopping sideways. URA down 2.65%. Now we're seeing a lot of selling pressure across the equities, just across the board for a lot of these different commodities. But there looks like a gap might be filled there. We'll see if we fill it. Still looks okay. Nothing wrong. Still looks good. URNM down 3.39. And again, we might get a retest. Maybe we close this gap or do a return move here. And then URNJ down 4.46, and that's right underneath resistance. Maybe we fill this gap here, potentially. So that's like 1940, let's say. Nickel up slightly, and again, we're trying to work through these sellers here. Trying. They're still sticking around, and that's why we've been chopping sideways. Copper's down slightly, ever so slightly. But every time I look at these charts, we are sitting on top of support and broke through resistance. If the sellers were in control, we would have never broken through the resistance. We would have dropped. Drop it like a rock, but we didn't drop like a rock. We're just up against more resistance through here. I do think we'll break out with time. I can't tell you the specifics, but we're trying. We're trying to break up. And these are downward facing patterns, which are bullish. They're all kind of downward facing. So I'm going to say we're going to break higher at some point. COPX down 2.42. We're doing, I think, a lot of retests. You break out and then you do a little bit of a retest there. We're still going to go up with time, but a lot of the times you could break out and then you do a retest, almost like you got to come back, put your feet on the support resistance line, and it gives you some support to jump off of. Lithium down slightly, 1.28%. Again, this still looks fine to me. We're not dropping yet. Now, if we drop down, if we put a big red candlestick, my mind would change quite quickly. But right now, there's a reason we're at support. We're starting to break through the upper trend line, which is a bullish thing. If you're sitting on top of it, that's bullish to go higher. RMX down 3.5. We're back doing another retest. I think I drew this on the weekly here. Yeah, I did. And maybe we come back like that. Very much a possibility. Don't know the future, but this is broken its bigger downtrend line here. Came back, did a retest, and now we're trying to trade higher. And the overall market, depending what the overall market does too, could have an influence on what REMX does on a daily perspective. Iron ore still squeezing up, not much change there, but now we're just squeezing in a tighter and tighter range. Aluminum up 1.38. There we go. I took it away and said, maybe we could get a move higher here with everything else looking so bullish, and maybe this is not an inverted flag pattern. So I'm using other sectors to determine if I'm going to be bullish or bearish on aluminum. And then some people say, well, what are those exact sectors? Well, it's everything commodities, base metals, copper, iron ore. Do they look bullish or bearish? Copper looks bullish. Nickel's been chopping sideways. And then I use that and try to make a determine. Now, did I know aluminum was going to go up? No, I did not know that. You don't know that until you start breaking through things. But like, there's a resistance line there, broke out. That's looking, better. Baltic Dry Index down 6.56. We've been on a tear lately. Whenever you start to really rip, sometimes you get a reverse move. This is a pretty big move, reverse consolidation, pretty big move, reverse consolidation. Could develop a flag pattern, pennant formation. You could do a retest of that breakout line. Emerging markets, we had a little bit stronger dollar, slightly lower in emerging markets. Still looks good. We're still sitting on top. You can see some resistance coming up here before, so we're getting a little bit of resistance right where we're at. Moves down 1%. We've been cruising higher here. It is normal to have pullbacks, and we're getting a little bit of a pullback there. KRE up 0.76%. Again, we'll see if we can get higher here. Shoulder head shoulder developed. The inverted one. Another inverted shoulder head shoulder perhaps, and sometimes they do pull back, but we're up 1.66 in home builders today. We had a downward trend going. Today, some buying pressure. We'll see if it can reverse it or not. I'll delete all of this here. We've got Russell 2000 sitting on top of a pattern, shoulder head shoulder, looking good still to go higher. SPX, again, not much selling pressure yet. And I could change my mind very rapidly here. This could easily, be flipped around. It looks like I can't flip it. I can only move it. But we're bullish so far, and we'll see what happens there. NASDAQ, some selling pressure up there. A little bit of resistance through here. Could that be a double top? It could. We got to see follow through. We got to see the big reds come out and dive down like that. Then I would be like, yeah, this is definitely a top. Potentially a top. SMCI up 1.9. Now this looks bullish to go higher. That's a double bottom, bullish formation, and we're breaking to the upside. That looks good. NVIDIA down 1.17, but again, I don't see huge red candlestick here. It's not a big reversal candlestick like that. Just a smaller one. So I'm still up until I see a reversal. Bitcoin's down 0.75, still at that resistance support area. Ethereum getting a little bit more selling pressure, 3.7. We're underneath resistance. Could this be a false breakout where we had lower? Potentially. Now, I don't know how to value Ethereum. Like, I don't know how to value Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I don't know what it should be priced. And although I do technical analysis, I like to know where the cost curves are at. But I don't think with Bitcoin or Ethereum, I don't think the cost curves matter as much, because supply and demand, if you go below the cost curve, you have a fixed amount of whatever and it doesn't get consumed. So I don't know what happens with that type of dynamic. It's not like a commodity. It might be a little bit different. I can also grab this here and extend it like that. So perhaps it's more of a channel that's being created as well. MicroStrategy up 0.18, but again, this could be the origin of a bearish move lower, kind of a correction. The VIX is down 7%, but this could move on up. And if that starts to move on up, that's your selling pressure. But again, we're just kind of charting the volatility here. We broke out of that volatility here in 2024. That was the yen deal. We consolidated, had another breakout with Liberation Day, and then came back down. So right now, I mean, we could bust here to the upside and get a large selling pressure move, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know the future, but that's kind of what it could suggest. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website if you'd like. Specials the coupon code. We've got a Saturday question and answer session coming up at 7 a.m. Mountain Time. We'll see you guys there. See you later.